Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing about the chapter changes around us. In this session we are going to see about different types of chemical reactions. First let us go through the rusting of iron, which we observe in our daily life. When a piece of iron is left in open for some time, it acquires a film of brownish substance which is called as rust. This process of change of iron into rust is called rusting of iron. So what happens when you keep any iron objects outside in the open air? So after a few days, if we observe, there will be brown color substance formation on those iron articles. This is because iron reacts with atmospheric oxygen and forms iron oxide. That formed iron oxide is called rust commonly. So this process is called rusting of iron. Rust is different from iron because we are telling iron combines with atmospheric oxygen and forms iron oxide. So rust is here iron oxide. That is why it is different from iron. The properties of iron and iron oxide will be different. So the chemical equation for rusting of iron can be represented like this. So as it is a chemical reaction, it can be represented with an equation that we call as chemical equation. Now let us see here the chemical equation which is representing the process of rusting of iron. See here, iron combines with oxygen in the presence of moisture and finally forms iron oxide, which we commonly call as rust. So in this way, rusting is a chemical change or which we call as chemical reaction also, and it can be represented with an equation which we call chemical equation. So in this, iron, oxygen, water vapor, these all are combining to form a new substance called iron oxide, which we commonly call as rust. Okay. We know one thing, near Qutub Minar in Delhi stands a 7-meter high iron pillar braving heat, rain and rough weather for more than 1600 years. It's one of the interesting point. This pillar is there near Qutub Minar in Delhi. So it was there from long since 1600 years back itself. It is there from there. Okay, it is around 7 meters. It has not rusted even after so many years. It is a mystery still. Its quality of rust resistance iron is still a mystery for the present day scientists. So they are wondering at this. So what is the mixture of this steel? With which composition this iron is made? Because even from there, even it is there for since 1600 years. It didn't get any rust until now. Even these many days occurring, it is not getting any rust. So it is being mystery the composition of this iron with which it is made. Okay. Now let us see the essential conditions for rusting. So at which conditions iron particles will get rust? They are, one, it is presence of moisture in the atmosphere around the iron particle, and the second one is presence of air, which we commonly call oxygen. The main important component of air which causes rusting is oxygen. So in the presence of these two, water vapor and oxygen, any iron particle, if it is exposed to these two for few days, so that iron particle will be rusted. So the iron reacts with these two and forms iron oxide. That formed iron oxide is called rust here. So we can say these two are the necessary conditions for rusting of an iron object: water vapor and oxygen. Now let us see how to control this rusting. That we say prevention of rusting. So for prevention of rusting, we follow different methods at different purposes. One of them is galvanization. It is considered as a best method to prevent rusting of iron objects. It is a process of deposition of a thin layer of zinc on iron surfaces. So the process of coating of iron articles with a thin layer of zinc is called galvanization. It is done to prevent rusting of iron. So what happens if iron articles are coated with zinc? Now zinc protects this iron article from coming in contact with atmospheric oxygen and moisture, and thus it protects the iron articles from getting rusted. So this is one of the best methods of controlling rusting of iron articles. Rusting can also be prevented by deposition of thin layer of chromium on iron articles. So not only zinc, often iron articles will be coated with thin layer of chromium and nickel and some other metals also to avoid rusting. We use galvanized iron pipes to carry water in our taps, and we use the iron articles which are coated with chromium for vehicle body parts. For example, if you use your bicycle, some metallic rods will be there in steel color. Generally, they are made up of iron and coated with chromium and nickel. Because of those, they get much shining, as well as they will be protected from rusting. So in this way, iron is coated with certain metals to prevent rusting. One of them is coating with zinc. Coating of iron articles with zinc is called galvanization. Not only with zinc, with some other metals like nickel and chromium also, iron articles are coated to prevent rusting. Okay. One more method is alloying. Alloying means the homogeneous mixture of two or more metals or a metal and a non-metal to change the properties of the pure substance or metal and to protect them from rusting. So the mixture of two or more metals or a metal with a non-metal is called generally alloy. So by mixing these metals with some other metals or non-metals, they are made into rustless. So by mixing with those metals will not get any rust. So it is also one of the process to avoid rusting of iron articles. When these metal iron, if it is mixed with some other metals like chromium or nickel and one more non-metal carbon, by mixing with these all, iron gets certain properties by which it won't get rust. So in that way, alloying also protects the rusting of iron articles. For instance, iron is used widely for different purposes, but it is never used in pure state, because if pure iron, if it is used, it will get rust immediately and those articles may spoil easily. That's why mixing nickel and chromium with iron gives stainless steel, which is hard and does not get rust. And mixing with a small amount of carbon makes it strong and tough. So in this way, iron is made rustless and strong and tough by mixing with certain metals like nickel and chromium and one more non-metal carbon. By mixing these all with iron, the resultant product is called stainless steel. Stain means rust, we know. Stainless rust means the steel which won't get rust, and its properties, some other properties also will be changed, like it becomes much tougher than iron, tough and stronger, and it won't get rust just like the iron. So in this way, by mixing with metals and non-metals, iron will be protected from rusting. This process of mixing iron with some other metals and non-metal carbon is called as alloying. One more, application of coat of paint or grease on the surface of these iron articles. It also helps in prevention of rusting. So if the iron objects, if they are coated with either grease or oil, so this thin layer of grease and oil also in painting also. These thin layers, they protect these iron particles from coming in contact with the atmospheric air, and thus they are protected from getting rust. So there are the different methods for controlling the rusting of iron objects. So coating of these metallic iron objects with certain metals like zinc and chromium, that process we called as galvanization. And one more it is alloying, mixing of metals in the molten state, some other metals like nickel, chromium and carbon with iron makes it stainless steel. And simple way is coating of these iron particles with a thin layer of paint or grease. This also prevents rusting of those iron particles. Okay, now let us see one more physical method, crystallization. The process of deriving large crystals of pure substances from their solutions is known as crystallization. When a hot saturated solution of an impure compound is allowed to cool slowly undisturbed in a beaker or in a crystallizing dish, after some time the crystals of pure compound are formed and impurities are left behind in the solution. So that process is called crystallization. What do they do generally? They take hot saturated solution of a impure compound and it is taken in a beaker or crystallizing dish. It is allowed to cool slowly, and then after certain time the crystals of pure compound are formed by leaving all the other impurities in the solution. This process is called crystallization. Crystallization is an example of physical change because in it no new substance is formed, and hence it is called a physical change. For example, crystals of salt are obtained by the evaporation of seawater. So when seawater is separated into small meadows, after a few days seawater slowly evaporates and it forms crystals of salt in this way. Similarly, crystals of copper sulfate can be obtained by adding copper sulfate powder to the boiling solution of water and dilute sulfuric acid. This mixture, when filtered and allowed to cool, produces crystals of copper sulfate. Now let us see about chemical reactions. The chemical reaction is a process in which two or more substances combine and form a new substance. Chemical reactions are widely used for the formation of desired substances. So what is a chemical reaction? The chemical reaction is a process in which two or more substances they combine together to form one or more new substances. That is said to be a chemical reaction. Chemical reactions are generally used for the formation of desired substances. For example, if we want to prepare ammonia, we mix nitrogen and hydrogen. By the reaction of nitrogen and hydrogen, we get ammonia. In the similar way, if we want to get carbon dioxide, carbon and oxygen, they undergo chemical reaction. So we take the chemical reaction of carbon with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide. Okay. The substances which are initially involved in the chemical reaction are called reactants, and the substances which we get after completion of chemical reaction are known as products. For example, just now I told, in the preparation of ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen. In the preparation of ammonia, we take nitrogen and hydrogen to react each other. There, the substances initially taken, they are nitrogen and hydrogen. They are called reactants. And finally, we get ammonia as a final substance. Those final substances formed in a chemical reaction are called as products. So in this reaction, ammonia is the product. Okay. So the substances initially taken are called reactants, and the substances finally formed in a reaction are called products. So look at the following chemical reaction of hydrogen and oxygen. So in the formation of water, hydrogen combines with oxygen, thus finally forming water. So the molecules of hydrogen and oxygen combine together to form molecules of water. So here we can say a chemical reaction occurred between hydrogen and oxygen. Okay. Now let us see different types of chemical reactions. All the chemical reactions won't occur in a similar way. So based upon the type of chemical, the type of process occurring there, these chemical reactions can be classified into different types. Let us see what are those. Types of chemical reactions depend on the nature of the combination of reactants and energy released or absorbed by the resulting chemicals after the reaction. So based upon these all factors, the type of reaction will be dependent. There are three types of reactions which have been discussed now. So let us discuss about the major three types of chemical reactions which we observe often. One among them is direct combination reactions or synthesis reactions. In the synthesis reaction, two molecules combine chemically to form a more complex molecule and energy of the resulting molecule is stored in its bonds. Okay, simply to say, the chemical reaction in which two or more molecules combine together to form a bigger molecule is called chemical direct combination reaction or synthesis reaction. For example, iron and sulfur, they combine to form iron sulfide. So what is happening here? Two substances, iron and sulfur, they are combining together and forming finally a new substance, single substance, that is iron sulfide. So we can say this as a direct combination reaction. So this is a equation which is representing the reaction of iron and sulfur to form iron sulfide. Okay, one more example. One more type of reaction is a decomposition reaction or enolysis reaction. Let us see what it is. In this reaction, the bigger molecule is broken into smaller molecules and energy is released. So simply to say, the chemical reactions in which a bigger molecule splits into two or more smaller molecules is called decomposition reaction, which is also called as enolysis reaction. Okay, and here in this reaction generally energy is released. For example, on electrolysis of water, it decomposes into hydrogen and oxygen. I think we have heard in the lower classes about electrolysis of water. What happens in that? We take water in a beaker or in a container. To that we introduce two electrodes, means the rods which pass electricity through them, and they are connected to energy source. Now when electricity is passed through this water, on one more point, this water will be added with small quantity of acid or some salt, isn't it? That we call as acidulated water. Now by passing electricity through this water, the water molecules, they split into two new molecules. They are hydrogen and oxygen. This process of splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen by passing electricity is called electrolysis of water. Electro means electricity, lysis means splitting. So here splitting of a chemical substance by passing electricity is happening. That is why this process is called electrolysis. So here one molecule splitting into two simpler molecules. That is why it is called decomposition reaction. Decomposition means splitting. Enolysis also represents splitting. So here one substance splitting into two or more smaller substances, it is called decomposition reaction or enolysis reaction. Another type of chemical reactions is exchange reaction. In this reaction, reactants exchange and replace their parts to form new substances or new compounds. For example, the combination of zinc and hydrochloric acid forms zinc chloride and it replaces the hydrogen. So what's happening here? hydrochloric acid is taken in a test tube and a small piece of zinc is dropped into that hydrochloric acid. Then what happens? This zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid and replaces hydrogen from that and liberates hydrogen gas out and finally forms zinc chloride. So this is the equation representing that. So hydrochloric acid solution is taken in the test tube. To that, zinc pieces are added, zinc ribbon is added into the sea here. Now what is happening? We can observe after a certain time evolution of certain bubbles. These bubbles are because of the evolution of hydrogen gas. Why? Because this zinc reacts with the hydrochloric acid and forms zinc chloride. This hydrogen gas will be liberated out. Now what is happening here? It is exchanging. Hydrogen is exchanged with zinc. So that is why this kind of reactions are called exchange reactions, which also we call as displacement reactions, because here hydrogen is displaced by zinc and a new substance is formed. That's why these reactions are also called as displacement reactions. Okay, let us see one more reaction. Sodium chloride and silver nitrate are mixed together to form silver nitrate and silver chloride. So this reaction is also called as exchange reaction. In this also, the reactants sodium chloride and silver nitrate, they exchange their parts and they form new substances. That is why this reaction also we call as exchange reaction. The equation regarding this reaction can be represented like this. So initially taken substances are sodium chloride and silver nitrate. So finally what is happening? These two substances, they are exchanging their parts. This Cl will react with this Az and this NO3 react with this sodium. In that way they are exchanging their parts and finally they are forming new substances. That is why this reaction is said to be exchange reaction. And another type of reactions is acid and base reaction. When in a chemical reaction acid and base are involved as reactants, the reaction is called acid base reaction, which is also called as neutralization reaction. So the reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide produces sodium chloride and water as a products. So here sodium hydroxide is a base, HCl hydrochloric acid is an acid. So when these two combine each other, they form two new substances. Out of those, actually it is to be NaCl, salt and water. Salt and water are formed as products. This kind of reactions in which acid and base they combine together to form salt and water as a products are called acid base reactions or neutralization reactions. Okay, they are the different kinds of chemical reactions. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today and visit our website aimstoday.in for latest updates on recorded videos.